It exhibited a push away from the sun by some mysterious force because there was no evaporation, no cometary tail around it, no dust, no gas. So the question was, what is pushing it?
It looked as if it's 20 kilometers, which is huge. It's as big as Manhattan Island.
It's already active. Right now, an object from another star system, named 3I/ATLAS, is hurtling toward the sun at nearly 130,000 miles per hour. It's the largest interstellar visitor ever detected, and it's packed with primordial water and the building blocks of life. But it's the object's path that has scientists at places like Harvard raising red flags. This isn't a random flyby. Its trajectory is a statistical impossibility, a near-perfect alignment with Earth's orbit and a series of close passes with our neighboring planets. They are calling it a comet, but its behavior is starting to look a lot more like a reconnaissance mission. A visitor of impossible size. Something enormous and deeply mysterious is cutting a path through our solar system, and it's unlike anything we've ever tracked before. Officially designated 3I/ATLAS, it's the third confirmed visitor from interstellar space, a traveler that has journeyed for potentially millions of years from a distant, unknown star system. And here's the first detail that should give you pause: its size. This thing is an absolute monster. Initial observations from the Vera C. Rubin Observatory have clocked it at roughly 7 miles wide. To put that in perspective, that's about the height of Mount Everest. It completely dwarfs the previous interstellar record holders. The comet Borisov was just over half a mile wide, and the infamous Oumuamua was a mere speck at around 650 feet long. Atlas is a true cosmic behemoth.
But it's not just the size that's raising eyebrows. It's the stuff it's made of. Using advanced tools like the NASA Infrared Telescope facility, scientists have taken a peek at its chemical makeup. What they found is, on the surface, incredible. The object is teeming with pristine water ice mixed with organic molecules, the very building blocks of life. Get this. The water appears chemically pure, lacking the kind of signatures you'd see in comets born in our own solar system. Models suggest this water could have frozen onto the object as far back as 7 billion years ago, long before our own planet even existed. It's a literal time capsule from a completely different planetary nursery, giving us a taste of another star's ancient history. So, case closed, right? It's a big, old, icy comet, a fascinating scientific discovery, but nothing to worry about.
Well, that's where the story takes a sharp and unsettling turn. It's funny when you think about it. We look at the composition and feel relieved, but the real devil is in the details of its movement. This object is screaming through space at nearly 130,000 miles per hour, and its path is what scientists call a statistical nightmare. Its orbit is almost perfectly aligned with the orbital plane of the Earth around the Sun. The probability of an interstellar object having such an alignment is less than 0.2%. That's a staggering coincidence. But it gets even weirder. The trajectory isn't just a straight shot through. It's almost like a guided tour of our inner solar system. Astronomers have mapped its schedule, and it's a series of unnervingly close encounters. On October 3rd, 2025, it will plunge past Mars, a mere 18 million miles away. Spacecraft orbiting the red planet will get a front-row seat as its coma. The dusty cloud around it begins to glow in the Martian dawn. Then, just 4 weeks later, on October 29th, it will execute a perfect slingshot maneuver around the Sun, skimming just 130 million miles from its surface while accelerating to over 150,000 miles per hour. And here's the kicker. At this exact moment, Earth will be on the opposite side of the Sun, completely blinded by solar glare. Our best telescopes will be useless. Coincidence? Maybe. But the tour isn't over. After swinging by the Sun, it will pass Earth at a comfortable distance before heading for its final flyby, Jupiter. On March 16, 2026, It will sail just 33 million miles above the gas giant's swirling clouds. This planetary alignment is so precise that the chances of it happening by random luck are less than 1 part in 20,000.
Is this a celestial coincidence of epic proportions, or could it be a designed trajectory? What if its normal comet-like appearance is the perfect camouflage for something far more advanced? Hiding in plain sight.
When the odds of something happening naturally are 1 in 20,000, you have to start asking different questions. And that's exactly what Avi Loeb, a renowned professor of astrophysics from Harvard University, is doing. You might remember him as the scientist who first courageously suggested that our first interstellar visitor, Oumuamua, could be an alien spacecraft. Now he's back, and he's pointing his finger directly at 3I/ATLAS. In a new paper co-authored with his colleagues, Loeb lays out a chilling possibility. That Atlas is not a comet, but a sophisticated piece of extraterrestrial technology in disguise. Loeb's argument starts with that impossibly perfect trajectory. He argues that the series of close flybys with Venus, Mars, and Jupiter is far too convenient to be random. An intelligent sender could have designed this path to gather as much data as possible on the planets in our system that could potentially harbor life or that hold strategic value. It's like sending a spy drone on a pre-programmed route to photograph multiple targets in a single mission. The path maximizes data collection. Why would nature be so efficient? It's a question that makes you think. Furthermore, the timing of its perihelion, its closest approach to the sun, is deeply suspicious. Hiding behind the sun's glare at that critical moment would be the perfect way to shield itself, or perhaps even deploy smaller, undetectable devices toward Earth without us ever seeing them.
This leads to an even darker concept Loeb invokes, the dark forest hypothesis. It's a terrifying answer to the question, where is everybody? The theory suggests that the universe is like a dark forest filled with silent hunters. Advanced civilizations know that revealing their existence is an existential risk because they can't know the intentions of other, potentially more powerful civilizations. So, the smartest thing to do is stay quiet and hidden. If you shout in the forest, you might attract a predator. In this scenario, 3I/ATLAS wouldn't be a friendly greeting card. It would be a disguised probe, passively mapping our solar system, eavesdropping on our communications, and assessing our technological level without ever revealing its true nature. Its comet-like shell of ice and dust would be the perfect camouflage, a cloak of natural materials to hide the advanced technology within.
It's a wild idea, but here's the thing. We're already doing it ourselves. We've already sent our own interstellar probes, Voyager 1 and 2, which have officially left our solar system. They carry golden records with information about humanity, acting as our own silent messengers to the cosmos. Is it really a stretch to think another older civilization would do the same, but with far more advanced technology? Loeb also points to another strange coincidence. Given its current speed, he estimates that Atlas would have first entered the outer edges of our solar system about 8,000 years ago. What else happened 8,000 years ago on Earth? It's roughly the time when humans first developed written language and began to record their own history. He doesn't say what that timing means, but the implication hangs heavy in the air. Were they waiting for us to become interesting? Even more compelling, his collaborators note that so far, Atlas has yet to show the usual chemical signatures of a typical comet. As comets get closer to the sun, they heat up and release volatile gases like cyanogen or diatomic carbon, which create a distinct glow. As of now, spectral scans haven't detected these gases. While most astronomers say it's just too early and too cold, the absence of this evidence keeps the door wide open. Is it a slow-to-wake comet? Or is it something that's only pretending to be one? But Atlas isn't the first visitor to make us question everything we thought we knew about space. A precedent for the unexplained. To really understand the suspicion around 3I/ATLAS, we have to talk about the ghost that haunts its journey. The very first interstellar object ever detected One, I/Oumuamua. In Hawaiian, the name means scout, and its discovery back in October 2017 threw the entire astronomical community into a frenzy. It didn't just bend the rules of what a celestial object should be, it shattered them. And the more we learn about Atlas, the stranger Oumuamua seems in comparison. The detection of a normal interstellar comet, like Atlas, actually makes the first one seem even more alien. It all started on October 19th, 2017. An observatory in Hawaii picked up a faint streak of light moving faster than anything should. It was clocking an inbound speed of over 58,000 miles per hour, and its trajectory was a definite one-way ticket. It was going to swing past our sun once and then fly back into the void, never to return. At first, they labeled it a comet. But when follow-up observations showed absolutely no tail, no coma, not even a wisp of dust or gas, they relabeled it an asteroid. But that didn't fit either. So the International Astronomical Union had to create a whole new category for it. I for interstellar.
Here's where it went from strange to downright bizarre. As astronomers around the world raced to study it before it vanished, they analyzed the light reflecting off its surface. The data showed that every 7.3 hours, its brightness changed dramatically, by a factor of 10. This suggested a shape unlike any natural object we'd ever seen. To have such a wild swing in brightness, it had to be either incredibly long and thin, like a cigar, or extremely flat and wide, like a saucer, tumbling end over end. Both shapes are incredibly inefficient for long-term space travel, unless, of course, they were engineered for a specific purpose.
But the biggest shocker was yet to come. After it whipped around the sun and was on its way out of our solar system, scientists at the European Space Agency noticed something impossible. Oumuamua was accelerating. It was getting a small but measurable push away from the sun, a nudge that couldn't be explained by gravity alone. The normal explanation for this is outgassing, when ice on a comet heats up and shoots out jets of gas, acting like tiny rocket thrusters. But remember, every telescope was staring at it, and every single one saw a perfectly clean trail. No dust, no vapor, nothing. The solar radiation pressure at that distance was also far too weak to create such a push, unless the object had an extremely high surface area to mass ratio. In other words, if it were an impossibly thin sheet, almost like a sail. No known natural process can create an object hundreds of feet across, yet thinner than a sheet of paper. This is what led Avi Loeb to his now famous hypothesis, that Oumuamua was a piece of alien technology, perhaps a derelict light sail, a probe pushed by the light of its home star. Since then, other scientists have proposed a more natural explanation, the dark comet, or hydrogen iceberg theory. They suggest it could have been a chunk of frozen hydrogen, which would outgas invisibly as it warmed up, providing the mysterious push without a visible tail. It's a plausible theory, but it remains unproven. The truth is, Oumuamua is gone, and we're left with only questions. And that's what makes ATLAS so critical. It's our second chance. If Atlas behaves exactly like a normal comet, it makes Oumuamua's bizarre behavior even more of a standout. Why did one visitor follow the rules, while the other seemed to come from a completely different playbook? Could it be that the first visitor was the scout, and the second was something else entirely?
The Trojan Horse Comet. So, let's step back for a second. We've had two confirmed visitors from beyond our solar system. The first one, Oumuamua, was a complete weirdo. It was shaped like nothing natural. It moved in a way that defied explanation, and it looked for all the world like a piece of abandoned technology. It screamed alien. Naturally, it put us on high alert. Now the second major visitor arrives, 3I/ATLAS, and it's perfect. It's a picture-perfect comet, behaving almost exactly as our textbooks say it should. Most scientists are breathing a sigh of relief, calling it a fantastic but natural coincidence. But what if that sigh of relief is exactly the reaction an intelligent observer would want? This leads us to the most unsettling theory of all, the idea that Atlas is a cosmic shell game, the ultimate Trojan horse.
Think about the strategy. If you wanted to observe a developing world without causing a panic, you wouldn't send a fleet of shiny ships. You'd send something that blends in. After the alarm bells set off by Oumuamua, a sophisticated civilization would know that sending another anomalous object would have our telescopes glued to it from day one. So, the smartest, most calculated move would be to send a probe that looks completely, utterly, and almost boringly natural. A probe hidden deep inside a hollowed-out comet, using miles of ice and dust as the perfect shield, both from physical debris and from our own scientific scrutiny. It could passively observe, collect terabytes of data, and then gracefully exit our system, leaving humanity to chalk it up as another mystery solved. This isn't just about hiding a ship inside a rock. The disguise is far more clever than that. Remember its composition? It's packed with pristine water and organic molecules. This isn't just a scientific curiosity, it's the perfect alibi. It's a biological signature that screams natural origin at us. A chemical fingerprint designed to lull our analytical minds into a false sense of security. It's like a spy wearing the perfect uniform to walk right past the guards. And what could be hiding inside? Let's take the idea a step further. Some theorists are speculating that Atlas might not just be a probe, but a self-replicating machine known as a von Neumann probe. These are hypothetical spacecraft that can travel to other star systems, find raw materials, like those on an asteroid or comet, and use them to build copies of themselves. What if Atlas isn't just watching? What if it's manufacturing? That 7-mile-wide body contains billions of tons of water and carbon compounds. It could be a mobile factory, using its icy shell as raw material to construct dozens, maybe hundreds, of smaller, stealthier probes that it could deploy as it passes through our system. We'd be looking for one object while it creates an entire network of them right under our noses. The miles-thick, icy crust would also act as the perfect insulator, masking any heat signatures or radiation that a powerful machine inside would inevitably produce. We wouldn't detect it until it was too late. It is, in essence, the perfect crime being committed on a cosmic scale. But if this is a deception, is it the only one happening in our cosmic neighborhood? A network of watchers. The Trojan horse theory is mind-bending, but it's just the tip of the iceberg when you start exploring the whispers and theories circulating in the deeper corners of the web. This isn't just about one object. It's about connecting the dots to a much bigger and potentially much older mystery. For decades, people have talked about the Black Knight satellite, a legendary conspiracy that claims an artificial object of unknown origin has been orbiting Earth for thousands of years. The story goes that it was first detected by Nikola Tesla and has been photographed by NASA astronauts. Most dismiss it as space debris, but what if it's real? In that context, Atlas isn't a first-time visitor. It could be a resupply mission, a data collection point, or even a replacement for an ancient sentinel that's been watching humanity since we first looked up at the stars.
Then there's the undeniable link to the recent surge in official government reports on unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs. It's funny when you think about it. Just as our own military is finally admitting there are craft in our skies that defy physics, we start getting these massive visitors from deep space. Is that really a coincidence? The mothership theory proposes that an object like Atlas, at a colossal 7 miles wide, isn't just an observer itself, but a carrier. It's a slow, lumbering transport that travels the vast distances between stars, and upon arriving in a system of interest, it deploys a fleet of the smaller, faster, and far more maneuverable UAPs that have been witnessed by pilots and radar operators. This would perfectly explain the mystery, a massive, camouflaged base of operations hiding in plain sight, dispatching sorties into our atmosphere.
But not all theories are so ominous. An equally wild but more hopeful idea is that of directed panspermia. We know that life's building blocks can travel on asteroids, but what if it's not random? What if Atlas is a cosmic gardener? Its payload of primordial water and complex organic molecules might not be for study, but for delivery. Its grand tour of the inner planets could be a seeding run designed to deposit microbial life into the atmospheres of potentially habitable worlds like Mars, or even to subtly alter the ongoing evolution on Earth. In this scenario, its creators aren't spies. They're ancestors, spreading the gift of life throughout the galaxy.
Or consider this. What if the most valuable thing in the universe isn't resources, but information? The galactic librarian theory suggests that truly advanced civilizations might not travel physically at all. Instead, they send knowledge. Atlas could be a massive biological hard drive, an organic data crystal containing the entire history, science, and culture of a long-extinct civilization. Its purpose isn't to watch us, but to get close enough to broadcast its library of information, a final message in a bottle thrown into the cosmic ocean. Its arrival, just as we develop the technology to potentially receive such a signal, would be the entire point of its multi-million-year journey. It's not a probe, it's a gift, a final desperate attempt by a forgotten world to say, "We were here." It's a thought that changes everything.
The questions surrounding 3I/ATLAS are bigger than science. They're about our place in the universe. Is it a gift of knowledge from a bygone star system, or a silent observer hiding in plain sight? What do you think is the real purpose of its journey? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more explorations into the unknown.